Hi there, this is Linda. You're back in the groove again. Coach, how are you doing? Today, I want to talk about an email that I received. Actually, it wasn't an email, it was a messenger message. It was a message through Messenger on Facebook. This is from a young man, and I'm going to read it. He says to me, I want to be like you. And so I asked him, what does this mean? He says, I want to be great like you. I started asking him to define what great meant. And I'm reading my messages here. He says, I mean rich and famous. And I said, okay, you're getting closer. What does rich mean to you? And what does famous mean to you? And he says, rich is when you're wealthy and famous is when you are known around. Now, I have to admit that the first thing that I thought of when he says, I want to be rich and famous like you, first thing I thought of was, I'm not rich. I'm not famous. And then I thought, wait a minute, I am rich and I am famous. So the first thing you need to do if you want to be successful is to change this. It's to change your mindset. It's all a question of perception. Because I'm not rich compared to Bill Gates. Not even close. I'm not rich compared to anybody that is Ellen. I'm not rich compared to Ellen. No, definitely not. But I may be rich compared to my neighbor who doesn't have a job. Now, the word rich itself, people associate the word rich with money, but it isn't always about money. And it's the same thing with the word success, and I'll get back to it in a second. The word rich, although it's associated with money, can mean other things. Rich with abundance. Abundance means full of joy, full of happiness, full of friends, full of things. So rich can mean something very, very different. Now, I'm going to add the definition for rich here so that we can have an idea of what it means. Now, when I take a look at the definition of rich on Google, it means having a great deal of money or assets. But it also means plentiful, abundant. So, the nation's rich of diverse wildlife, plentiful, ample. And of course, if I have food in the fridge, that's abundant. If I have food in the fridge and in my cupboard, that's abundant. If I have money in the bank and I have money in savings, for example, that's abundant. That's rich. So I want you to think about redefining your definition of rich. Rich can mean having $100, just like rich can mean having $1,000, or rich can mean having $1 million or $100 million. But that's just in terms of money. How else are you going to define rich in terms of things or ways that you feel? That's one thing I want you to consider. The next word that he mentioned is famous. But before I talk about famous, I want to talk about success. Because people often associate rich and famous as being successful. So success is another one of those words that are very subjective. It can mean somebody who has a lot of money, because that's how they define success. Success can be, I have a lot of friends. Success, in fact, means that I've accomplished a goal or have accomplished a purpose. So it also means having achieved a certain popularity, like a successful actor, because they have achieved a certain popularity. But if I say that I'm successful, for example, if I create a video like I am now and I put it out there, I was successful. I accomplished my goal. If I have lost 20 pounds, and that was my goal, was to lose 20 pounds, I can say, I'm successful. I'm a success. So I want you to start thinking of, number one, how you define success. And is that an accurate definition for you? Because if you think that success is being, out in the limelight and being like a movie star where you're like Julia Roberts or, another successful movie star, you think that's what it is, you might have to redefine that success. You might be a person who's very popular in your community, for example. Maybe everybody says hi to you because you're a great guy, you're a great person. I would say that's being successful because you have the ability to make people happy. You might even set out during the day to say, today I'm going to have an awesome day. I'm going to make people happy today. And I'm going to be happy as a result of that. That is being successful. So I'm going to suggest that you take a look at what success is to you. And I always suggest to work with a coach with that because sometimes we do think way, way, way too big. And the other word is famous, right? Because we also associate the word rich and famous. Now, I think some people think I'm famous because I create videos. Now, that could be true. Maybe I am famous. In fact, I don't even know who looks at my videos. So perhaps I am famous. But to me, I associate famous with something else. So what do you associate famous with? You could be famous in your community, maybe because everybody knows you. So let's take a look at what the word famous means. I'm just going to look at my little dictionary here. The word famous means known about by many people. So if you live in a community, a small community, and everybody knows you, then guess what? You're famous. Perhaps you went to high school and everybody knows you in high school. Then you're famous. Maybe you did go to university and a lot of people know you in university because you were maybe the president or because you did a really fun event for people. Well, you're famous. You're famous in that university. So redefining, first of all, our mindset, how we perceive things, how we define things, how we compare ourselves to others. Now, I don't think comparing ourselves to others is always a good thing. I'm going to talk a little bit about that. First of all, if I want to be like Bill Gates and I compare myself to Bill Gates, that can be a good thing, but it can also be a bad thing. It can be a good thing because perhaps Bill Gates is my mentor. And I go, I want to be just like Bill Gates. And I start studying Bill Gates and I start looking at everything that Bill Gates has done since and maybe done and failed at in order to be as popular as he is today, as famous as he is today. But if I think of Bill Gates as being out there and I have no idea who Bill Gates is, but I've seen his name, I've heard about him maybe on the news, but I haven't studied the habits, I haven't looked at the failures that he's had because, and I don't know Bill Gates enough, I can't start describing the failures that Bill Gates has, but I'm sure that Bill Gates, just like any other person that you see on TV and the media, they've had a lot of failures. So you want to start maybe taking a look at some of the habits they have. You might want to read a biography or an autobiography written by that person to start developing those habits. We're talking about developing skills. So if you define what success means to you, if you define what rich means to you, if you define what famous means to you, and you work along with a coach, I'm your back in the groove again coach, right? I'm a person that can help you with that. If you start defining those words, you might start seeing things that are showing up in your life that in fact do make you a success and that do make you famous and that does make you rich. So that's my tip for the day. Number one, start changing your mindset. Start redefining what those words mean to you. Start being clear about what they mean to you. And if you do study people, famous people like the Bill Gates of the world, to start reading what these people do, what habits they have, what failures they've had. Maybe they have the habit of not giving up, right? Maybe they have the habit of being persistent and being consistent. Those are all great habits and great disciplines to take on. So my best tip overall is to work with a coach. I'm your back in the groove again coach. My name is Linda. I help people like you become the best versions of themselves that they can be. So if you want more information on my services, if you want to work along with me, go to my website at www.backinthegrooveagain.com and let's work together. I want to help you define what famous means, what successful means, and what rich means. All right. Bye for now.